Hello and welcome to the second half of the mental sphere of human experience. We're going to take a look at the cognitive domain. The first subdivision of which is education. This is, in a way, the most macro category, because you can teach any of the other categories, of course, but being adept at teaching itself is a different set of skills. Yes, of course, you have to be versed in whichever topic or topics you are offering and comfortable with the subject matter. And having hands-on experience actually working in the field or industry that it relates to can really lend a hand to being an effective teacher. But it really comes down more to organization and understanding the process of learning itself. It's about being able to lay out a mental framework, like a scaffolding, and knowing the right order of operations for building up understanding. It's patience and interpersonal skills, being able to gauge the frustration of a student and respond appropriately when something isn't working. It's about understanding what they don't understand. And being able to answer the questions that they're actually asking. So you have to, in a way, anticipate misunderstanding and respond in a way that doesn't exacerbate it and maybe even clears it up efficiently and solidifies the concept that you're trying to teach. So as I said before, teaching is the single best way to learn a subject better yourself, because students may find loopholes and make you aware of it. They can show you things that you didn't see connections in between, or they may ask something that you don't actually have the answer to and force you to go and learn something new and look it up. I taught astrology at a high school level for a couple classes, so I guess that's a semester's worth. It really opened my eyes to what I now think of as errors and mistranslations to the widely accepted astrological concepts and places where they just don't jive with actual pagan practice. And it's that willingness to be wrong, that there might be flaws with an existing model, and the introduction of a challenge or new information might force it to be updated. Being a good teacher means taking challenges in stride, knowing when a student is just off the mark and misunderstanding, or when they might be really onto something. I watched so many of my professors respond with just saintly patience and grace in some really trying circumstances, especially on ideologically sensitive topics like religion, and just how respectfully they were able to handle irate students while standing their ground on their own effort and research. When both parties come from a place of mutual respect and value of the work being done and the time being put in, it's incredible the kind of results that you can get and how those interactions can evolve how the class is taught in the future and incorporate new conclusions. And seeing that evolution in real time is just wild. So we're fitted with this really unprecedented opportunity right here and now with this series. Kind of meta side note. My rank is General of Capricorn. My bad, because I don't think I've even touched on that at all as of yet, because I'm really focused right now on getting as much of this out as possible. My understanding of my faction mission is that we are providing structure, the foundations. So these initial concept videos, the website itself, the infrastructure that is needed to start populating the conflux. I'll actually talk about me and what I do at some point, but I figured I would just start providing as much value as possible to you in watching these videos and generating some momentum here. But education in particular, and why I chose to spend time on this so specifically, out of all of the things that I could be working on right now, is this initiative of making education freely available online. And all of that, it's actually being spearheaded by Gemini, as I understand it. That's what they are adept at. They are highly qualified to do it and actively working on it right now. But I noticed so far that their leadership is kind of bogged down and lacking infrastructure. So Capricorn is typically behind the scenes. I'm really excited for the future and what it's going to look like when we have a more overt population of goats doing goat things. You know, figuring out what that really is and what it looks like, what kind of projects will resonate with us as a herd. But really, none of us, regardless of faction, have been able to live fully, victoriously, freely, at least in this country, but I think everyone around the world has their yokes and oppressions, keeping them from being enough, just from existing, being valued for their humanity and free to pursue their true callings, unbeholden to a society that's demanding all these obligations from them and treating them like they owe it something. A lot of people are really hopeless right now, faced with this huge challenge of environmental degradation, population explosion, toxicity, and unsustainability. I was really bogged down with that for a long time myself. It's extremely depressing. But the conclusion that I came to is that we have this incredible opportunity to overhaul everything. Because even if we could live the way that we do now, socially, with our current values and lifestyle, and the earth wasn't burning up in a fiery, hellish inferno, that would still be a huge problem. Maybe even a worse problem, you know? A hidden, undetectable cancer that gets the opportunity to develop in secret for years is so much worse than an acute but potentially treatable illness. The fever is alerting us to the fact that we have a problem. I don't hold the belief that we are just a scourge or a virus on this planet and our mother is trying to eradicate us to prevent us from destroying all life on the planet and allowing it to go on. I think that we are just as much a sacred part of creation as the other animals, but we have become a bit corrupted and need to get our greed in check. There has never been a species like us, and this might be a huge step in us evolving as a species and becoming something totally else. The speed with which we are changing our physiology now is just sublime. It's scary and exciting. We are racially mixing in ways that were never before possible. Our genetics can mutate so rapidly. And this time of awakening that we're going through, we can also choose a different way to be towards one another. So the conflux is just that. We are always changing together. That's the translation that I like. Acceptance of our potential danger to ourselves and to each other, and making a conscious choice to turn away from that impulse and to value and safeguard one another and the environment that sustains us all. Gemini might be at the forefront of the revolution it's going to take to do that. Of course, contributing to this initiative is in no way exclusive to them. It's just that having such a passionate dedication to a mission like that and latent predisposition to be masterful at it, that's the combination that we need to tackle these things. So I didn't mean to go off on that, but I think it's super appropriate here because the whole of this series is about education itself, and I want to illustrate for you the overarching potential that an upset in the educational paradigm could have for us in setting us on a better course. A child who cannot attend school because they have to help with the family farm could log in for a couple of hours in the evening, and if we achieve free Wi-Fi around the world and provide devices, then this uphill battle that we're fighting in poverty-stricken areas of building schools and trying to make it possible for them to attend could potentially be one. Those infrastructure resources could then go instead towards sustainable agriculture and helping their family make more money. So people could be healthier. The demands for other types of welfare and aid could be reduced and consolidated, and we could start actually reversing global warming instead of just slapping band-aids on our sinking ship full of holes. They say, what if the mind that holds the cure for cancer can't afford an education? So, I answer, let's make it free. What can I do? So as I said, the list of teachable subjects includes all of the other subjects that we've talked about, but I'm also going to provide this little list of different specializations. We have early childhood development, special education, leadership, counseling, curriculum development, tutoring, literacy, advising, elementary education, compiling coursework, content creation, test writing, and competence evaluation. The second subdivision of the cognitive domain is STEAM. This is all of the technical information-based disciplines of the cognitive domain, commonly notated as science, technology, engineering, architecture, and math these days. Pretty straightforward, so I won't do too much of an intro. This is also arguably the best organized and categorized as far as the educational institutions go. This is the heart of academia itself and what standardized testing is really centered on. So the list of disciplines are physics, chemistry, geology, ecology, geography, oceanography, meteorology, astronomy, biology, zoology, anatomy, physiology, horticulture, paleontology, mathematics, computer science, statistics, programming, coding, engineering, including mechanical, civil, material, and electrical, urban planning, aerospace, biotech, architecture, technology, electronics, quantum physics, neuroscience, genetics, robotics, data structures, botany, toxicology, medical research, diagnostics, and logic. So that concludes the cognitive domain of the mental sphere of human experience. Thank you so much for joining me, and I'll see you in the next video.